So, good morning everyone. As you can see in the thumbnail, that I have given the UPSC CSE 2023 short, and here it's written what we learned and what next. So basically the objective of today's session will be that what have we learned from the UPSC 2023 papers. Obviously by this time all of you would have come to know that how option framing has been changed, how the concepts were already there in the market. You people would have been studying it continuously, but the way question has been framed and the option has been given, it would have been some kind of new experiment. Rather, we cannot say it a new experiment. The trailer was given in the previous year paper, and now in this time it came in a full-fledged manner. And maybe in the upcoming or in the next year paper you will find that no option is left where this kind of framing or statement 1 or statement 2 base type of framing will be there. Okay. Now coming to the history portion, all of you know that I take history classes in the Lukmaan IAS. So if we talk about the history section, generally lots of things are there in the market, many books, many texts, many material, thousands of materials are there. But if you go through the past 2 years paper of the UPSC, and all of you would be knowing this, that all of us say that NCERT is the most important thing, and if you are not completing that NCERT, you are not going to sail through this examination. Now why NCERT is relevance, I will show you through in this class, or I will show you. Okay, so let us first of all see. This is UPSC 2023 paper, okay, and it is set A here. So the very first question of history, if we are talking about that, in which one of the following region was Dhanya Kataka, this part is given, located. So basically they are asking you about that where is the location of the Dhanya Kataka. Okay, Andhra, Gandhar, Kaling and Magad. Now if you would have gone through the class 12th NCERT, let me show you. This is class 12th NCERT. Okay, let me show you here. So we have to go for class 12th, then we are searching history here, then we go to themes in Indian history 1, okay, and then go, and then you open chapter number 2. Yes, this is the file. So it is class 12th NCERT chapter number 12. Now it is easily available. Now see that how the question it is being asked. You are searching here and there, and the answer is already available in the NCERT. See this. Now if you read the question, Dhanya Kataka, where it is located, and now you see Dhanya Kataka. By your common sense, you can find out the answer for this question. Okay. So this is what I want to show you, that how much relevant is the NCERT. And now when you are reading the NCERT, you don't only have to read the texts, this portion, all these portions which are written, but rather whenever you find any kind of map, if it is given in the NCERT, from there also the UPSC can frame question. Similarly, if you go through the previous year 2022 UPSC paper, you will see that they have asked a question related to the Ashokan pillars. Okay, and they have given the names of the sites where various Ashokan pillars are there and where they are located, and you had to find out the correct match. In this same chapter only, this is at the last, this map is at the last, and if you go in the same chapter, see, distribution of Ashokan inscription, and everything it has been given. So for the past 2 years, from the past two, in this, from single chapter only, 2 maps are given in this chapter, and they have been framing the question from this chapter only, map based question. So this is what we learnt. So it shows us, the upcoming paper shows us that how the NCERT is very much relevant, how it is going to be very much useful for you if you prepare it very thoroughly. So this is what we learned, what to do next. As the thumbnail of the video itself, what next. So basically it has given, or I have come to a conclusion that why not let us see, if we try to assemble all the maps which are there in the NCERT, from starting from class 6th and going up to class 12th, ancient, medieval and the modern history portion, we find that numerous maps are there, numerous places are there. So we are planning to prepare for PT 2024. Can we come out with an idea, or can we come out with a strategy? We are seeing it, that the UPSC is framing the question from there. What you have to do only from this map is that you have to study these pictures, study the location, what it is written, and at least find out something more about them. Some detail, not very much detail, but something more about them you have to find it about, and then it will be, you are in a safe place for the upcoming PT 2024. So what I will start from this session onward, and in the upcoming session it will always be a live session, I will be taking that we will start with the history mapping classes. So from class 6 onward, that is our past one, from first chapter itself, or from whichever chapter the first map we come across, we will study that map. Whatever the sites which are given, we will study it in very much detail. That is not through historical point of view or through a point of view of a historian or a scholar, just from the perspective that how UPSC in probability can ask some question related to that. Okay, so in this way we are moving towards our class. By this time it is clear to all of you that the agenda of this class was to make you aware that how the UPSC is asking the question from NCERT, And what should be our strategy for the upcoming? The strategy is let us start reading the map in the history section. Okay, and we are going to start it from class 6. Okay, and in the upcoming 6 or 7 months we will be completing the entire of the maps which are given in the history NCERT book. All the important places, location, their historical relevance, what kind of information it is there which will be useful for your PT examination. And moreover, for all those history optional students who are going to appear in this PT20 means 2023, obviously all of you know that in the paper 1 you have a mapping question. The first question itself you can have 10 places or 10 sites will be mentioned and you have to write down something about them. So this class is also going to be very much helpful for the history optional student who are going to appear in this mains 2023. Okay, so let us first of all start with class 6th. So this is the class 6th book. The name of the book is Our Past 1. Okay. This is. So we are starting with the mapping class. It is class 1. The map from where we are taking is the NCERT class 6 and the title is Our Past 1. And the first map which we encounter and we have to study, it is in chapter 2 and the map number is map 2. Okay. Let us go through that particular chapter. So this is the first map. Okay. If I have to make it small, this is. Now you are seeing that what is written, some important archaeological site and various locations have been given. Here it mentions Paleolithic site, Neolithic site, megalithic site, early village and modern cities. Okay, map is given. So basically when we go through this map, it gives an idea or gives an perception that it is talking about the stone ages. When you study, in which portion of history you study the Paleolithic, Mesolithic and the Neolithic, it is basically the stone ages. So based upon that, important sites in the Indian subcontinent which are related to this stone age, it has been given. Okay. So we will be starting from the top. Okay, I will be covering all these topics, all these things, but the first thing here is the Burzahum. So Burzahum, what we see that it is written, it is a Neolithic site. So in this class, and if we go through the location of this Burzahum, what we find is that basically in the Kashmir area, this site is located. So what we will study in this class, some features that what is Neolithic age and about the Neolithic sites. Apart from Burzahum, what all sites are there in the Neolithic age, we are going to study in this class. Okay, and that way the class will end. We are not going to study thoroughly the entire map thing in one day, but rather bit by bit we will be covering it. So today we will be studying about some Neolithic site and those Neolithic site particularly with reference to the Kashmir. Okay, and here you can see Burzahum. Now let us move to our classes. So what I have done, that in order to save the time, so it doesn't take much more time and you don't have to invest much more time in the YouTube, I have already written the things in the blackboard. I will be explaining to you and you just keep noting it down. Okay. So Neolithic age, all of you know that the stone ages, basically it has been categorized in 3 parts. We study it in 3 ways. That is the Paleolithic, that is the old, Mesolithic, that is the middle stone age, and the Neolithic, that is the new stone age. So when we talk about the Neolithic age, the general features, by and large the Neolithic sites have been found in the entire Indian subcontinent, and when we study all these sites, some general features come out. It may also happen that some of the site would not give these evidence or one of the evidence would not be there, but in majority of the site what we find in the Neolithic period in the Indian subcontinent is that these 4 features are generally found. What is that? First is the food production. Food production basically here means that we find or we get evidence of the beginning of the agriculture. Okay, agriculture. Then we have evidence basically that suggests that in order to keep the agricultural produce, some material or something would have been required where you can store the agricultural production. So that could have led to the growth of the pottery. Then we have sedentary living. See, when you have to do agriculture, you cannot be a hunting gathering society. You have to live at least in that place for some particular time period, because in one day agriculture can't take place. So you have to live. That doesn't mean that the Neolithic society or the Neolithic age was completely sedentary society. That hunting gathering was not there. Still in the 21st century you will find that hunting gathering society are there. So parallel things would exist, but what we study in history is a new features which arises, which doesn't appear in the previous ages but becomes and comes in the next ages, that become the features. So what we find is the beginning of the sedentary living, and whatever the stone tools have been found from the Paleolithic age itself. In order to break something or to do some kind of hunting, the humans have experimented with this. But by this time, when we are coming to the Neolithic age, over the 1,000 years of journey, now the whatever the stone tools are there, they are getting polished. It means they have a finishing touch. Okay. Earlier the tools were there. If we are talking about the Paleolithic age, then they are very much crude. They are not having that kind of finishing. But now if we go through the Neolithic tools, we will find that they are very much polished. They are having a good edge. Okay. So polished stone tools, these are the some of the features. So 4 features, whenever Neolithic age is coming to your mind, all of you need to keep these 4 features. Okay. Now, so as told in the map, that the map has given us the location of Burzohom. Burzohom, it is located in Kashmir. Okay. So basically when we study the Neolithic site of Kashmir, the primary area or the primary location where these sites have been found, the Neolithic sites have been found, basically they are situated in and around the area of Srinagar, Baramulla and the Anantnag. These are the areas where we find the majority of the Neolithic sites in the Kashmir. Okay. Now the prominent sites, all of you can write it down in a very short manner. Okay. So it will be helpful for all of you. Prominent sites: Burzohom, as you have seen in the map, Haripori Gom, then Gufkral, then Jaya Devi Udur, Olchi Bag, Pampur, Pansgon, Sombhur, Thajibur, Begagund, Wastal, Gurhoma Sangri and Damodara. These are the sites which are Neolithic sites which have been excavated by the ASI, and many new informations have come through which we are able to find out, or we are able to bring out a general picture of the Neolithic sites in the Kashmir. Out of all these sites, 2 sites which all of you need to remember, it is the Burzohom and the second one is the Gufkral. You don't need to study all these. You just remember that these sites are there. They are of Neolithic age and they are in the Kashmir area. That's it. But the detail, at least something what all of you have to remember, is about the Burzohom and the Gufkral. If you are doing this for the PT perspective, you have done your work, and the history optional student also, you have also done your work. By and large, the question will be from these 2 sides only. Other than that, you just remember, nothing more to go in detail. Okay. So now we will be studying 2 sites, Burzohom and the Gufkral. Okay. So Burzohom, first of all, it is always important in history that you always start that where a particular site is located. Okay. So first of all, Burzohom, it is located on the floodplain of the Jhelum river. Okay, a site near the bank of the Jhelum river. The word Burzohom, it is basically a Kashmiri word which means the place of birch. It means here the trees of birches were found. Okay, you have to remember this. Burzohom, how does it derives its name? from the place of birch means birch trees were found, and when the Archaeological Survey of India and when archaeologists have done the excavation, they have got the architectural, or rather say the remains of the birch, how it was burned, how people were utilizing it. So through that evidence we come to know that it was a place which was famous for the tree of birch. Now other important thing, this site was discovered by H.D. Tera and T.T. Patterson. So before independence this site was discovered by, and some excavations were conducted by two persons, that is H.D. Tera and T.T. Patterson. Now why this is important? In this PT 2023 you would have find that in one of the question some names were given, like Alexander Ree was given, and you had to find that how these personalities are related to Indian history. So basically they were archaeologists. Okay, so in that sense that also give us an perspective that we also have to look through the important personalities not only of the Indian national movement. Right now till this time we had been focusing only towards the important personalities of the Indian national movement, but this paper has given us an idea that we have to look in the perspective of ancient history also and the medieval history also. And archaeology is an important thing. So that is why, keeping in this mind, I am giving you all these details. Not very much detail, but yes, what is relevant that it is being given. And after independence, so before independence we are having H.D. Tera and T.T. Patterson. After independence the excavation was led by ASI and under the leadership of T.N. Khajanchi. Okay, just write this information, 2 line, 3 lines, okay, and keep revising it. So that was Burzahum. Now Gufkral, location in the Tral Tehsil in the Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir, UT. Okay, this site was excavated in ASI first in the year 1961 and then under A.K. Sharma in the year 1981 and 82. So first it was done in 61 and 62 under ASI and A.K. Sharma in 1981 and 82. This is the general information. Now, what information do we get from all this site and whatever the excavations have been done? What are the general things? See, in detail there is very much, but all of you don't have to study that much detail, and even in the history optional student, you don't have to study in that much detail. Rather 50-60 words write-up line you people would have created for your every site, and you need to keep revising it. And you have to write down only the general features, not everything. So the general features of the Kashmir Neolithic site. So whenever you get any of the Neolithic site which is asking you to write something about the Neolithic features belonging to the Kashmir, write this point, it will be right. Okay, a straight solution is there. So basically what do we find? Evidence of mud plastered pit dwelling. So basically as it was a cold region, so people would dug the earth and they would live there. Okay, the shape of that pit dwelling will be oval, rectangular and square. 3 shapes we found. Now rectangular and square. So wherever the site will be there, a site is very huge. It is not only a one house or one dwelling which has been told refers to a site, but rather a combination of that dwelling will refer to a particular site or the entire site of the Burzahum or the Gufkral. Now if we when we study and when we do the excavation, what we have come to from that thing is that whatever the dwellings, if the shape of the dwelling is in rectangular or in square site, it will always be found at the center of the site. Square and rectangular shaped dwelling will always be at the center of the site, and oval type of dwelling will always be at the periphery. Remember this feature. Square and rectangular at the center and oval at the periphery of the site. Okay. Now we have well developed bone tool industry. It means from the wild animals, the humans have developed the ability to develop the tools which are necessary for their survival. They have acquired or they are using the bones of the wild animal for their day-to-day life. Okay. Third, the evidence of pottery. Okay. And basically what type of pottery it is there? It is of grey color, red color, brown, and mostly handmade. Okay. These are the features are there. And what was apart from the agriculture, we find that hunting and fishing were part of life. So although agriculture has come into existence, that doesn't mean hunting and gathering was lost, or they were not practicing hunting or fishing or any other modes of subsistence. Okay, all these things were going on, general features. Now, given this, what is the a thing comes to our mind is that if we study the entire Neolithic site of the Indian continent, some variations are there. See, some features of the Neolithic in the beginning of the, in this that the general features of the Neolithic age is the food production, pottery, sedentary living, and the polished stone tools. And in that time when I was discussing that, I had told that there can be some variations. Some variations can be there. So when we study this variation and when we try to generalize it with respect to the Neolithic sites which have been found in the Kashmir area, we get some distinctive features. And what are these distinctive features? The distinctive features are this: wide range of stone and bone tools, and these are polished, it means they have a good edge. We get pit dwellings, okay, we have perforated harvesters, and we have animal burials. It means animal burial basically means what? That whenever a person used to die, along with that, when that dead person was buried, animals were also buried, and this gives us some kind of idea with respect to the religious history of India, that the concept that even life after death exists and a body even after death would require some kind to something to eat and something to live and something to survive. So that is why this practice gives us an idea. We are not very much sure about it that religion would have existed, but it gives us an idea that maybe they would be practicing some form of religious activity in which the body of a human was buried with the animal. Okay, this is the idea and this is the thing what we arrived. All of you make a note of it. Okay, in this way we have done and we have completed this, basically this part. Burzohum, we have studied it in detail, and whatever the important Neolithic Kashmir sites are there, we have studied about it. In the next class we are going to move towards this northwest region, that is the Mehergarh area. Okay, and we will study this in detail. This is for this class. I will be ending this session here only. And someone of you have asked one question that whether mains के लिए कोई crash course or at least PYQ discussion लीजिए. We are in the thought of that. Let us just plan. Vaishnav Dutt, who has asked a question related to this, we are in the planning of that. If we get the suitable timing, see, the classes are there, the test series go on, then we have to do mentorship, copy evaluation. So all these things are there. I am not saying that it is not going to happen. It can happen, but let us first of all confirm. We have to confirm it with Ansari sir, and then entire thing has to be managed. We will see to it that whether we can take a discussion or not. But yes, this thing has already been in my mind that as the 2023 mains is going to happen, and discussing the previous year question gives a student the edge and it develops the ability also. So yes, probably we can have this, I can take it, but I cannot guarantee it that definitely it is going to happen. It will be an internal decision. Okay, so we will think about it and we will be informing you, or you will come to know about it. Rather than that, other than this, If all of you have any kind of doubt, any kind of difficulty related to this topic, whatever I have taught, there is any question, you can come, you can ask your question, you can have your queries, okay? You can have, or even at a later point of time you want to have some kind of discussion, you can come to the Lukmaan IAS and have your query resolved through me, okay? Okay, so with this I end the session and we will meet in the next class.